Seattle, all the new parks are smaller. The people like to see the home runs. The ball, it's not really that much livelier. It's a little smoother. It doesn't have the drag it used to have. The ball carries a little bit better, not much.
Is that because of the mud?
What?
Don't they take all the major league balls and the mud?
Oh yeah, Mississippi mud. It's from Mississippi, and they rub them all down. The bats are better. They used to just have Louisville and Adirondack, and I mean, the bats are harder. They're making them now, so the bats are just harder and better than those before. There's probably 7 or 8 different bat models now that you can get, and they're better. The athletes are bigger, they're stronger, and faster than ever before, but they're not tougher. I mean, you can't get guys to play 2 weeks in a row now. They want a day off.
Right.
And that's the only difference. They're not tough.
Could you imagine if there's a metal bat that ends of Frank Thomas or Frank Howard? They'd kill you. If you played those games,
it'd be dangerous. It would be dangerous.
How do you like a guy like Ripken? All the things
Oh, he's the best. He's the greatest. He's why the big league ball players all. He's just outstanding.
You look a little.
Well, I wish I would have played a little bit like him, but I always enjoyed playing against the guys like that. It's nice to play against the best baseball players in the world and do okay against them. I'm not that bad. If I can do okay against these guys, I'm not that bad.
You never made it to a World Series?
When you play for Texas, you not too many times you go to the World Series.
What's the
home run thing? I've heard, I don't know, that they contract strike zone.
There's believe it or not, they talk about that, but every umpire has his own strike zone. I mean, this guy tonight, I guarantee you, his strike zone is not going to be like the one last night. Every big league umpire has a little bit different strike zone. Some of them call ball outside, some call it in, some call it high, some
Nobody
call
calls it letter high.
But no, and they never did when I played. They never called that. Anything above the belt was usually a ball. The belt.
Even when you play.
Yes, but even that should be a strike. It's supposed to be armpits. But anything above the belt's a ball. And if they wanted to cut things down, if they start that right there in itself, that would cut all the home runs down.
Who are the best fixtures?
Boy, the greatest. This guy he'd see me on the on-deck circle, he would laugh. He'd just go, It was Louis Tiant. Oh. Now here's a guy that had to be 50 years old pitching in the big leagues. He said he was 42, but that guy had to be 50. But I saw him beat Cincinnati twice in the World Series when Cincinnati was the big red machine, and when he was pitching for Boston. And the third game he was winning going into the 6th inning. This guy was a great pitcher, but he used to turn his back all the way around. Yes. You saw and he'd throw the ball from up here, sidearm, and he'd throw the ball 93, 94 mile an hour, and he had a great changeup, good curveball. And I finally hit a home run off of him. And then after that, it took me 7 years. I finally hit a home run off of him. Then after that, I started hitting him pretty good. But Louis Tiant was just a great pitcher, and he had my number.
What do you think of Hideki Irabu?
This guy here, he's a typical free agent. I mean, Bobby Valentine, he played for Bobby Valentine. And here's a guy who played for Bobby, and Bobby tried to get him with the Mets. He didn't want to go.
He wanted to him out when he played Columbus a couple of weeks ago.
This guy, the other guy is Nomo's in L.A. So the only way he could really top that would be to go to the Yankees, and that had a lot to do with it.
Did you play with Nolan?
Oh, Nolan, I managed Nolan Ryan. I had to take him out of the ball game one time. I don't think that wasn't hard. 45,000 fans wanted to see him stay in the ball game, and Nolan was tired and he was ready to come out, and I had to take him out, and the fans weren't too happy. No, Tex was great. Nolan Ryan worked harder than anyone else on the ball club that I managed in staying in shape. He spent more time in the weight room. He worked harder than anybody. And that's another thing. Conditioning now is more so than ever before. When I played, guys didn't do anything all winter, fished, laid around, didn't do anything. Went to spring training, then they started working out. Nowadays, ball players will work out 3-4 months. In the wintertime, they have personal trainers, they're on diets, they got this guy, they got that guy, they got 3 or 4 different people taking care of them. And they got psychologists, they got everything now. It's become a real science. It's a high dollar, big time thing. It's a business. It's not that much of a game anymore. It's a business.
You mentioned some managers you played for that I recall reading. It's always said that they were excellent at stealing signs. You coached third base.
Yes.
Do you have any comments on that? You mentioned several of them that were known for being able to not just anticipate, but how do you do that as a coach?
The best of all time is Joe Nossick. Joe Nossick is now the dugout coach for the White Sox. Well, Joe Nossick used to be my coach in Cleveland. Joe Nossick was so good that Billy Martin used to call Joe Nossick up and ask him what a team's signs were when we would leave town and the Yankees were coming in behind. But Joe Nossick did it this way. He was a math teacher, and he did it mathematically. He would break down signs. He would watch a coach give a sign, and if nothing happened, then he would eliminate that. This guy had a fantastic memory. And then he would just do it by elimination, process of elimination. Finally, when the coach would give a sign and something would happen, he would know exactly what that sign was. And all he does is sit on the bench and watch the coach the entire game. I can't do that. I gotta
watch the game.
I gotta watch the ball game.
How often do you change the sign?
Sometimes you'll change them after the first series, after you play a team 4 or 5 games.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, Utah had. They were so simple. And not one time did they get our signs. It was real simple. I'll show them to you. They're real easy. Anytime I start with the left hand, nothing's on. No sign, nothing's on. Anytime I start with the right hand, there might be something on the right hand. Okay? Here's the bunt. 1 clap. Okay, I start with my left hand, nothing's on. Now I'm going to start with my right hand. Here's the hit and run. 2 claps. Here's the steal. Right hand, start with my right hand. 3 claps, that was a steal. We had those signs all year long, not one time did they pick them up. 1 clap bunt, you keep it simple, so dumbest guy in your ball club will get it. Now, the only catch is when I start with the left hand, nothing's on. Okay, and I clap all the time. Hey, let's go, you know. And they're real easy.